Well, this part looks pretty simple at first glance, but after you start drawing it, you may realize that it has some unique challenges that you may not have faced yet. So that's the purpose of this video. If you haven't done it already, make sure that you create a new project based on this part, and also you want to start a standard millimeter.ipt part file. So I'm going to start off with it and create a new 2D sketch. Now, since we're given a single view drawing, we can create the initial sketch on either the front or the top plane. This being the front plane, this being the top. You can also select these same planes either as the XZ plane or the XY plane and under the origin folder. So I'm just going to put mine on the front plane, my first sketch, and I'll start drawing. I'm going to place the the drilled hole that's inside the boss on the left side of the object. I'm going to place the center of that hole at the origin. Okay. So once I've drawn that circle, now this circle will actually become the outside arc of the part. I'll just draw a line here, and this is my rough sketch. I'm not paying attention to size yet, but I am paying attention to my parametric constraints. If you realize right now I have a tangent and parallel constraint according to the icons on the screen there. So, and now I also have a tracking line, so my line length should be the same as the one on top. So I'm just going to draw some lines in. I'm not going to worry about the arcs right now. And now I just want to draw a circle, and just from the tangents of this circle at the quadrant, the top and bottom quadrant, I want to draw some lines to the left. And now let me extend, and then I will trim everything that I don't need. Now, what makes this object tricky is that it's hard to get it properly constrained. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and place the small hole in the middle here, and I will also go ahead and place what will be the hole on the right side of the object as well. Now right now it's saying I need 10 dimensions, so I have quite a bit of work to do to properly constrain the sketch. So the first thing I'm going to try is I'm going to try to make sure that the center points of these circles are actually horizontal to the origin. So I'm going to apply a horizontal constraint between the origin and the center points. Okay, and I took away 1 degree of freedom there, and I want to do it again between here and this circle. Okay, now it says I need 8 dimensions. So I can apply some of these dimensions as shown in the book. So I want to apply a radius dimension, and then I want to apply a dimension from the center point here to the center of this circle. And I'm not going to worry yet about the parametric relationships that it tells us to draw. I'm just going to place the dimensions for now. And I need a dimension between here and here. And I'll need a radius dimension here. And now it says I need 4 dimensions. And just moving along. Now I want to go ahead and create these arcs. Now if you try to use the fillet command, chances are it's not going to work very well. I'm just going to put in a radius of 10, and you can see that it shoots the arc way out, which is not what we want. So the way around this is to actually just draw a circle, and then the circle is tangent to the line here, and it's coincident between here and the corner. Okay, so once it's there, you can just trim it, and now it's in the right place. And you can do the same thing on the bottom. And again, this needs to be tangent between here and here, and then apply a coincident constraint between the edge of the circle and the point. And again, you just want to trim what you don't need. Alright, now the center points of these arcs should be directly above one another, so let me apply a vertical constraint between those center points. They should also be the same dimension, so what I could do is apply an equal constraint between the two, so they'll have the same radius. Alright, now it's still saying I need 5 dimensions. Now let's see if we can apply an equal constraint between here and here. Okay, so now these line segments are the same length. Okay, And let me apply one of the radius dimensions. And now it says I still need 3 dimensions. Okay, so we need to work around on those, and 2 of the dimensions will be the diameters of these holes. Now it still says I need 1 dimension, so we need to look for that. Okay, so after looking at my textbook, I realized I forgot to put a dimension between here and the end of the arc there. So now we're fully constrained, and now we can apply the parametric relationships that the book tells us to apply. Okay, so and how do you do that? Well, you go around looking for something that you can use as a ratio. For example, the distance between the center of what will be this hole and this hole is exactly twice the distance as the distance between here and here. So what we could do is just click on this, double click on this dimension, and then click on this dimension and put times 2. So no matter if I edit this dimension to whatever number, this dimension will always be twice that number, because that's what I made it. We can do the same thing with the radius on the ends here. We can see from the book that the radius of this arc is 1.5 times the radius of this arc. So what I can do is just double click on that dimension, click on this dimension, and then put times 1.5. Okay, and you can do the same thing with the hole here and the hole here. Okay, this diameter is always twice of that diameter, so you could go with the largest one if you wanted to. Click on that dimension, and then put that dimension times 2. Okay. So now that you have you're fully constrained, you have the parametric relationships that the book tells you to that you need to have, then you're ready to proceed on. So on your own, go back and edit these dimensions. Now the ones with the function, the fx ones, don't edit those. You've already edited those to behave properly. Okay. The only ones you need to edit are the other ones without the fx. Okay, and these are given in the book, so edit these the same as what's shown in the book. I'm going to do the same. When I get done editing the dimensions, I'm going to extrude this by the base thickness shown in the text. You do that, and then I'll catch up with you in a moment. So when I was editing the dimensions, I ran into an error, and it was because I tried to adjust the radius of this arc before this one. So I edited this to what is shown in the text, and then tried to do this one, or before I had done this one, I should say, and it gave me an error. So what I did is I edited this radius first and then that one. So if the order does matter, the order in which you edit the dimensions. So just a heads up there. So after you do that, finish sketch, and then, as I said, you want to extrude it by the thickness of the base, and I'll let you do that on your own, and I'll catch up with you after the extrusion. So the last part is very quick, and so I want to create a new 2D sketch on the surface that we just created, and then just simply draw a circle, and then you want to dimension it as shown in the book. Okay, and then you want to extrude it by the thickness of the boss that's given in the text. And then you can either use the whole command, or you can actually just create another extrude cut. I'll just use the concentric reference. I'll select this plane and then select this edge, and the diameter should be 20, and then we want a through all cut. Okay, so that was an easy finish up to what started as a little bit of a tricky problem, but there's your completed object, and I hope this helps you out.